Hot Mike with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. I was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mike.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something. Izzo.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota. Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mike. Hot Mike.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo. Dom Izzo.
Good Monday morning. Welcome to the What Can $1 Billion Buy You edition of Hot Mike on WDAY Extra. KSFL TV. Hello, Sioux Falls. And Inforum.com. 9th day of December is here, 2024. A windy, snowy one. Be careful out there driving. It's going to get a little bit nastier here as the day goes on, but not nearly as bad as last week. Welcome to the show, everybody. Hope you all had a dynamite weekend. Ready to rock and roll here on an Overreaction Monday after a pretty busy last few days since we were last all assembled on Friday morning. Plenty has gone down. As I mentioned in our show tease, UND is a new football coach. Announced about 13 hours ago that Eric Schmidt is going to take over for Bubba Schweigert, which we'll get to here in just a few minutes. That was on top of the fact that baseball decided to upset the football apple cart last night with a record signing, which we'll chat about as well because it involves one's favorite baseball team. On top of we're down to the final 8 for the FCS Playoffs. All the seeded teams won, but not the way you thought. All right, let's do our best of the weekend. We're going to go all over the place here today. We'll start with some hockey. The Women's Professional Hockey League, the PWHL season is underway. They all have nicknames now. The team in Minnesota is the Frost. They selected Britta Curl in the draft this past spring. The Bismarck native, Olympian, state champion 3 times over, national champion a couple times over, Wisconsin. Now she's added another accolade to her illustrious career. She's a professional goal scorer as well. Saturday against Toronto, that her first professional goal. That's a heck of a one-timer. And she wasn't done. She added another goal as well for the Frost in their win to open up the season. So congrats to Britta. Saw her play as an 8th grader when the Bismarck Blizzard made the state tournament in Grand Forks. She scored twice in the Frost win over Toronto. Minnesota off to a nice start. 2-0-1 to start the year. They already scored 9 goals on the season. So congrats to Britta. The goals are already coming, and I imagine the first of many in her professional career. Okay, this time last week, we saluted both the Mankato and Bemidji football teams. Both had great road victories in the state of Colorado in the Division II football tournament last Saturday. This past weekend, as the bracket unfortunately does, they played one another in the Division II quarterfinal round at Blakesley Stadium. Good old Blakesley. Hasn't changed in 50 years since the Vikings had their training camps there. I know it didn't change in the 7 years I went to Mankato. Dynamite football game on Saturday. We're going to pick it up early in the fourth quarter, this one. Bemidji has the ball and drive. They're about to put the game away against Mankato. They've got it inside the 3-yard line. Beavers are up 23-21. It's 3rd down and goal. They keep it, but the ball is fumbled and scooped up by Mankato. Literally, I mean, they're up 2, and this is going the other way. Mankato coach not going to be thrilled. Todd Hoffner, they got caught. But the Mavericks score and go in front at 27-23. They missed the two-pointer. Now, 10 seconds to go. 4th down. Bemidji with a last chance, and the ball knocked away at the goal line. And the Mavericks hang on and beat Bemidji 27-23. Mankato moves on to the D2 semifinals. They got a date with the top seed, Valdosta State, coming up this Saturday in Georgia. Look at Eric all over it. Despite his chilly takes, he's pretty good on the graphics. So it'll be Valdosta State and Mankato on one side, Slippery Rock and Ferris State. Ferris has been ridiculous this year. They beat Harding over the weekend. That's the Final Four left in the D2 playoffs. The semis this weekend, and then the national championship game is a week from Saturday. 2 monster plays by the Mankato defense to end up winning that football game. Great crowd as well, as you expect nothing less for a quarterfinal game. Packed house, had over 3,000. Packed house, a novel concept. People in Fargo and Brookings could learn something from that because there were empty seats everywhere across the upper Midwest this weekend. So congrats to the Mankato Mavericks. They're moving on. Lastly, a shout out to the Road Warriors. Jory Collins' team just keeps on winning games away from Fargo. I know they lost the clunker against Charleston Southern, but Saturday, in the midst of the Bison football game going on against Abilene, all that Jory Collins' team did, they had 2 separate double-digit runs against Eastern Washington. They won an 11-0 run in the first half. They added a 16-0 run in the second half and getting baskets wherever they wanted. Marissa Frost drives and scores. The true freshman was in double figures again. We talked about her on Thursday's show. Abby Kraswinski is lighting it up. Another game of double figures. I think she was 5 of 5 from three-point range in the game on Saturday. That's Frost with a corner 3. They won by 27 on the road. 74-47, they beat Eastern Washington. They've won 3 in a row. They're 6-3. They're flying again cross country. After the game, they went from Spokane, Washington to New Orleans because they're playing Tulane tomorrow afternoon. They're practicing down there today. I think the game's at 4 o'clock tomorrow. Then they will get home for a couple days and go right back to the state of Washington next week to play Boise State and Washington. The team is, I think they're all right, folks. I know they're young, but they might be all right. We'll see how they fare here with their next 3 games are against, I would say, high major group of 5 kind of basketball teams. So we'll see how they fare. They could lose all 3, but they've got some talent, and they're all young. Again, they only have 2 seniors on this roster, Abby Schulte and Abby Draper. That's it. And Frost is playing like they got another. This might be the 3rd class in a row where they have a dynamite freshman. 2 years ago was Elle Evans. Last year was Avery Coonan. Now it might be Marissa Frost. It's pretty good recruiting. The question is, can you hold on to him? I know Elle Evans is playing at Kansas. Coonan's going to get some looks. There's no doubt about it. And Avery's already been out in front of the Green and Gold Collective. That's the huge challenge that is in mid-major basketball these days. We're overdue for a break. We come back. Sam Herder will join us. We'll recap the second round of the playoffs, who was the most impressive, and look ahead to the quarterfinal round. That's coming up when Hot Mike returns on an Overreaction Monday. We're back after this.
It's that time. An author.
Offensive production, number 1. Number 2, I forgot.
Golfer.
It'd be like going on a 3-person best shot, and we were saying, Kolpak, you got to make a 25-footer every time. You wouldn't putt first. I'd have Tim putt first.
And one heck of a TV personality.
This game is for the Cooper Cup.
It's the Forum's Jeff Kolpak.
4! I should have yelled 2.
Here he is. No transfer portal for our guy. Jeff Kolpak joins us here on
Not
a
yet.
Monday
Just started.
morning.
Just opened in the media circles.
It did open as well for the football world as well after the College football playoff official bracket was announced, which we'll get to in a little bit. I know everybody's on pins and needles, but as far as we know, the Bison are pretty calm on that as of now. A couple players
Seems
that are
like
in. So we'll, again, all that can change on a moment's notice, but as of right now, everything's pretty even keel.
Yeah, and to repeat what we've said all along on the transfer portal, it's going to be mostly guys you haven't heard of. And in the old days, you'd never know until spring roster comes out and practice, and you go, okay, what happened to Cedric Wall?
There might be a few more. I'll disagree slightly.
Okay.
There might be a couple guys you may have heard, you may have played that just maybe can't break through.
I'm not saying heard, but you forget about them because they don't play.
Okay. I'll disagree again. I think there may be some that play that just maybe
a little
can't
hard
break
edge.
through.
All right.
Well, nobody likes to agree all the time. You give me that all the time. So I'll just tell you. I got a bunch of emails to get through. Are you ready?
Oh,
Before
already?
we get to those, tell me how you thought the Bison played on Saturday.
Okay.
I'd agree with that.
Yep. Okay. Thought came out a little sluggish. I thought the speed of the game, it took them a little bit to get going.
I agree.
I think, these guys are pretty fast.
Yep.
There's some good athletes over there.
Offensively, certainly they had. Actually, a defensive line and a couple monsters up front for ECU.
That was a good team. They were better than I thought. Maybe the players probably approached it that way too. Like, wow, this team's better than we thought, and what they look like on film.
Defensively is the part I want to ask you about because they forced 3 turnovers, they get a pick 6, but they allowed 31 points and gave up a 90-yard touchdown. So how do we evaluate that?
Yeah, I think Mike's column hit it on the head. They weren't really good, but then they were.
Yeah, right.
Made some key plays. Obviously, the strip sack by Logan Kopp was
Huge
the biggest play.
Yep.
It made it a 2-possession game, or else it might have gone down to the wire.
Yeah, the 90-yard touchdown run from Sam Hicks. I mean that.
This is weird.
That can't happen. That was reminding me of East Tennessee State and Towson. We haven't seen that since September.
It was just a basic.
It's a perfect fit, and he's gone.
There's a little hole there maybe, but it was just a basic off-tackle play, and Gonzo.
Right. Bison had no answer for that, and there were a couple players that saw the bench after that. But this is the play you're talking about. The Kopp came off the edge, and what a day for Kopp on Saturday. He has that and the pick 6 to add to his already impressive resume.
Surprised me a little bit in that Maverick McIver, the quarterback there, was really good at feeling the pocket pressure. He stepped up at the right times. He felt it coming off his blind side. And for whatever reason, he didn't see Kopp. That was a rare, I think, lapse on his part all day.
He's pretty good. Their receivers were excellent as well. But finally, when the Bison defense, like Mike's column said, and you mentioned, when they needed to make plays, that was one there on the. They got to him. Toby Annetta made another play. I'm just telling you right now, the Bison fans are wondering who's your next big defensive end. It's 93, and he's here now. And that's another guy. You want to talk about closing up ranks and making sure that nobody swoops in and gets him? 93 is one, and Toby Annetta I would keep an eye on.
Oh, I'm sure there's teams that they know the players.
For the Bison, absolutely.
They know who at South Dakota State's good. They know at NDSU, all the playoff teams. This is not any breaking news to these teams that pay attention in the portal.
Our poll question today, and it was a hot topic, and I have not talked about the Jets one iota because they stink. They were eliminated from the playoffs yesterday for the 14th year in a row with their loss to the Dolphins. So the question was, what should we talk about more? Soto's $765 million deal or the Jets missing the playoffs? Soto's deal wins out. I'm going to keep talking about it because they beat the Yankees for the guy. That's the best part about it. My dad wanted no part of that conversation. Actually, here's the exact text exchange last night. I sent this to him when I found out. Soto is going to be a Met! ! My dad responds, well, that just means he's happy with one ring. We're happy for you. Bitter pill since he's leaving the Yankees. Let's do some what to watch before we get out of here. All right, so tonight we got the Bengals and the Cowboys. That game's on WDAY, but also they have the Simpsons alternate cast on Disney+. I can already tell you that's what I'm watching tonight. The Jackman's very excited about that. They've done the Toy Story one, which was awesome. This will be really cool tonight. We'll have highlights of that tomorrow. Gopher men against Indiana. Big Ten basketball, 5:30 on the Big Ten Network. Abilene Christian hoops pretty good against Baylor on the CBS Sports Network. Our thanks to Tom Miller, to Jeff Kolpak, and Sam Herder. If you missed any of the show, you can podcast it later today at Inforum.com. You can watch a full replay on WDAY+. Have a great Monday, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow